crossovers and team-up stories are nothing new in the world of comics. Just this past year, DC and Marvel released their first crossover books in over 20 years, in the form of 2 one-shots starring Batman and Deadpool. Virtually all of your favourite superheroes have shared the page at least once, and this trend extends beyond the worlds of capes and cowls and into broader pop culture. Whether it's Star Trek, Planet of the Apes, Transformers or Evil Dead, there's a storied history of superheroes both teaming up and facing off against the stars of other beloved franchises. But a recent entry in this long-running tradition caught my attention, one that sees the Marvel Universe crash against one of sci-fi and horror's most deadly threats, brought to life by one of comics' best modern creative teams. In April of 2024, Marvel announced Aliens vs. Avengers, a 4-part miniseries that would see Earth's mightiest heroes meet the dreaded Xenomorphs. Written by Jonathan Hickman and illustrated by Asad Ribic, the duo behind the acclaimed 2015 Secret Wars, this comic took the usual format of IP crossovers and completely flipped it, crafting an epic, high-concept reimagining of the Marvel Universe's far future, a dystopian world where the aliens have conquered much of the known universe, and a few remaining heroes journey to stop them once and for all. Aliens vs. Avengers was a real surprise when I first read it last year. Although my initial expectations weren't tremendously high, I found myself thoroughly enjoying this story, as well as how Hickman seamlessly blends the established world of each respective franchise. And so in this video, I want to explain the history behind Aliens vs. Avengers, discuss how it came to be and why Marvel sought to bring these properties together, as well as how Hickman and Ribic's ambitious tale makes for one of the best crossover stories in recent memory. Before we continue though, just a quick reminder to leave a like on this video if you enjoy it, and subscribe to Owen Likes Comics so you don't miss out on any future videos. To explain what makes Aliens vs. Avengers so noteworthy, I should first provide some context on the recent history of both Marvel's flagship ensemble and the iconic sci-fi franchise, as well as the book's writer, Jonathan Hickman. Hickman is a name most comic fans will be familiar with. Through his seminal runs on Fantastic Four, the Avengers and the X-Men, he's established himself as an era-defining writer of the 21st century. In 2015, Hickman teamed with Asad Ribic for Secret Wars, a 9-part series that culminated virtually all of his Marvel projects up until that point. After literally destroying the multiverse and telling a high-stakes battle between Reed Richards and Doctor Doom, Hickman penned one of the greatest event books in modern history, and a touching tribute to Marvel's past and present. Following Secret Wars' conclusion though, Hickman stepped away from mainstream comics. The next few years saw him largely work on creator-owned projects, such as the Black Monday Murders and East of West, before returning to Marvel in 2019 to spearhead a new era for the X-Men. Beginning with the House of X Powers of 10 miniseries, Hickman launched a brand new status quo for the mutant heroes, relocating the X-Men to the island of Krakoa and establishing them as nation builders against the backdrop of an impending war against both humanity and artificial intelligence. The ensuing Krakoan age of X-Men comics saw the group's popularity resurge, with Hickman's grand vision for mutant kind being an exciting new chapter in their storied history. The writer eventually left the X books in 2022 and was soon after enlisted to oversee Marvel's rebooted Ultimate Universe. Teaming with artist Brian Hitch, Hickman wrote Ultimate Invasion, a 4-issue series which introduced the new world of Earth 6160. As part of this Ultimate revival, Hickman also served as the writer for Ultimate Spider-Man, penning all 24 issues and introducing a new 30-something-year-old incarnation of Peter Parker who willingly chooses to obtain power to help take this world back from the Maker. In addition to his Ultimates projects, Hickman also worked on a variety of other books for Marvel. These included Gods, a series designed to reconfigure Marvel's magical and celestial hierarchy, an excellent Doom one-shot with Sanford Green, and Imperial, a murder mystery story that introduces a new status quo for the company's cosmic roster. And it was during this specific period that Aliens vs. Avengers was first pitched. If you're watching this video, you likely don't need me to explain what Alien is. Since the original film's release in 1979, the franchise has been a staple of modern pop culture. Across its 7 theatrically released films, video games, and TV shows, it's remained a beloved series amongst horror and sci-fi fans. The Alien franchise does have a notable history in the world of comics though. Alongside having their own standalone titles published by Dark Horse, DC Comics also published several crossover projects throughout the 1990s and 2000s, such as 1995's Superman/Aliens and 2007's Superman and Batman vs. Aliens and Predator. Furthermore, the Xenomorphs also made their way into Image Comics too, in the form of 1998's Wildcat/Alien Special, a comic that is actually responsible for the creation of The Authority. However, the Alien series had never crossed paths with Marvel, but following Disney's acquisition of 20th Century Fox in 2018, this would quickly change. While the House of Ideas oversaw the production and release of 2024's Alien Romulus film and the Noah Hawley-led Alien Earth TV show, the company was also keen to expand its presence on the printed page. An Aliens What If comic began publishing in March of 2024, running for 5 issues and telling alternate versions of key moments from the classic films. And in April, Entertainment Weekly broke the news that the Xenomorphs would officially battle the Avengers in a 4-issue series from Hickman and Ribic. Discussing the project and its origin, Hickman told Entertainment Weekly that,
"I've never worked on a licensed or non-superhero property the entire time I've been at Marvel, so when all this came together almost 2 years ago, I kind of jumped at the opportunity. I love the Aliens universe and the mythology, and obviously just how atmospherically and well designed everything is has always gotten my creative juices flowing. It was tricky finding a way to make these two things work together, but I think that Asa Ribic and I landed on something that works for fans of both franchises."
While I don't think the news of Aliens vs. Avengers itself was a major surprise, the announcement of Hickman and Ribic's involvement certainly turned some heads, myself included. Although many initially expected a straightforward crossover, with familiar versions of Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America encountering a handful of aliens, Hickman instead took a grander, more ambitious approach. Diving deep into his penchant for exploring complex mythology, the writer crafted a dystopian future for the Marvel Universe, where Xenomorphs run amok, and Earth's remaining heroes are forced to risk a daring mission across the galaxy to locate and confront the source of this evil. And the resulting series wasn't just a shockingly large-scale exploration of both properties' history and lore, but also a continuation of many themes and ideas from Hickman's other Marvel works. And when the first issue of Aliens vs. Avengers was released in August of 2024, within just the first handful of pages, it immediately became clear that this crossover was unlike anything anyone expected. Before we continue though, I want to take a second and talk to you about something I should probably promote more often, patreon.com/Owen Likes Comics. I've been working on this channel full time for a little while now. It's my absolute dream job and I love it, and it wouldn't be possible without everyone who watches, subscribes, likes and comments, as well as all of my supporters over on Patreon. In case you didn't know, I release several bonus videos and podcasts every month on my Patreon, as well as the full uncut conversations with special guests that I record as part of these videos. Alongside this video, you can watch my full uncut conversation with Grant Morrison on all things Batman and Deadpool, a new interview with Chip Zdarsky looking at his Captain America series and the upcoming Armageddon event, and an exclusive video detailing my favourite comics of 2025. You can also watch all of my videos ad-free and several days early, and be part of a community of like-minded people where we regularly chat about comics, movies and everything else. There are multiple different tiers with unique perks starting at just $1 per month. I will leave links in the video description and the pinned comment, or just go to patreon.com/Owen Likes Comics. At the very least, check it out and see if it's something you'd be interested in. Thank you for all of your support, and let's get back to the video. The first issue of Aliens vs. Avengers opens not with Earth's mightiest heroes, but instead with a group of synthetics aboard a spaceship. As they experiment on a Kree soldier, it's explained that the synthetics have been travelling the universe, testing different races and seeding various worlds with xenomorph queens. Their experiment is interrupted when the intergalactic Wakandan Empire intercepts their ship. T'Challa, his son Azari and the Hatut Zarazi board the ship only to be attacked by a swarm of xenomorphs. After defeating the aliens, Black Black Panther orders the synthetics to be apprehended, and when coming face to face with his foes, T'Challa discovers that Earth has already been infected with the alien swarm, causing him to behead the synthetics leader. As the Wakandan Empire journeys back into space, the comic then takes us to Earth. In a dystopian future, only one city remains, built by Tony Stark as a last stand against the alien invasion. It's here where we're introduced to two of the book's key characters, Bruce Banner and Carol Danvers. Carol asks Bruce about the status of Valeria Richards, as we learn that the other members of the Fantastic Four died years ago. As Carol suits up to find Valeria, we see her and Spider-Man escaping from a swarm of Xenomorphs and are eventually rescued by the Hulk. Banner brings the pair back to the city, where we learn that Valeria is developing a virus to kill the aliens and their eggs. However, Valeria's mission proves unsuccessful, with Banner finding her dead body next to a rampaging Xenomorph. Tony, Miles and Carol also appear, with Spider-Man being attacked by a facehugger. However, he shakes this off as we discover that Miles is wearing the Venom symbiote, which shockingly bonds with the alien as the heroes declare that they need to leave Earth. With this basic premise established, Hickman and Ribic begin the second issue with a series of flashbacks that explain how the world reached this point. Here, we see the android David arrive on the homeworld of the engineers and kill his creators, before spreading his alien plague across the galaxy. 1,000 years later, David and his synthetic doppelgangers discover the multiverse, and set out to travel to every reality, eradicating all life in each world. We then cut to 20 years later, where the Wayland Corporation orchestrates a hostile takeover of Stark Industries. With an elderly Tony Stark forced to sign away his company, he warns David that humanity will fight back against their threat, with David sternly proclaiming that their world will be destroyed in 16 years. Back in the present day, the heroes prepare to flee Earth and venture into space. Tony reveals that the city he constructed was a facade, with its stronghold actually being a spaceship designed for this purpose. Tony initiates takeoff as a fleet of War Machine drones protect the ship from Xenomorphs, only for a mysterious figure to appear in the distance. This is revealed to be none other than Captain America, who leads a group of human survivors towards the ship before it leaves. As Cap single-handedly battles the aliens, Tony reluctantly states there's no time to stop the launch, causing Banner to declare that he's no better than a monster if he does nothing, transforming into the Hulk and aiding Steve in his fight against the Xenomorphs. The two Avengers battle to the death as Tony launches the rocket, shooting himself, Miles and Carol into the great unknown. In the comic's third issue, the hero's ship arrives on Arakko, the former Mars, now a homeworld for mutants. Hoping to find allies and the necessary technology to survive, the trio venture out to find the X-Men. Meanwhile, we cut to Bar Sinister, where Nathaniel Essex and his clones have congregated. We see that Sinister has captured and experimented on many of the X-Men, as he bonds his DNA with the aliens to create the Sinister Queen. This queen then infects the other Sinister clones, creating several Xenomorph mutant chimeras that hunt the survivors on Arakko. As Spider-Man, Captain Marvel and Iron Man are eventually hunted by Sinister and the aliens, the surviving X-Men, Wolverine, Emma Frost, Armor and Manifold, arrive and are able to save Carol. When she wakes up, the X-Men explain how Sinister's experiments have doomed mutant kind and Arakko. Captain Marvel, though, refuses to leave Tony and Miles behind, prompting her and the X-Men to return to the city to try and find them. Instead, though, they discover Tony Stark's dead body and a facehugger next to him. But as the heroes mourn their fallen friend, a fleet of starships appears overhead, as Carol heralds the arrival of the Wakandan Empire. With backup now here, the final issue of Aliens vs Avengers fills in the backstory of Wakanda's departure from Earth and mission to hunt the synthetics. It's explained that after escaping the planet when the alien invasion began, the Wakandan Empire was attacked in space by Xenomorphs, causing T'Challa to search the universe for its creator. He eventually discovers the engineers and learns that the aliens' conquest was created in a twisted plan to remake all life in the universe. As Black Panther and the Wakandan soldiers arrive on Arakko, T'Challa declares their mission is to save what you can and burn the rest. As he, Carol and the X-Men fight the Xenomorphs and the Sinister Queen, Captain Marvel sacrifices herself to wipe out most of the aliens, killing many of the Xenomorphs but leaving the Sinister Queen still standing. As all hope appears lost, a monstrous alien-like venom appears out of nowhere and begins attacking the Queen, and bursts through the Queen's body, ripping it in half and killing it. This version version of the Lethal Protector is revealed to be Tony's master plan, with Iron Man, after being attacked by a Xenomorph, urging the symbiote to release the facehugger it captured earlier, which implants an embryo into Tony's dying body. A new creature then bursts from Stark's chest, which Venom bonds with to create the ultimate symbiote-alien hybrid. With the Queen dead, the remaining Xenomorphs on Arakko fall back, recognizing the symbiote as its new leader. With the threat neutralized, our heroes regroup and board the Wakandan ship, collating their knowledge of David, the engineers, and the aliens, and venturing out into the furthest reaches of space to hunt them down and end this plague across the galaxy. As they leave Arakko behind, a final message plays through Tony's helmet, where he urges his friends to liberate as many worlds as possible from the Xenomorph plague, and avenge the ones that they have lost. Upon its release, Aliens vs Avengers was a big success for Marvel Comics. The debut issue was among the top 15 best-selling titles of that month, and reviews were largely positive from fans and critics. Although not in the same continuity, this project coincided with Marvel also launching a series of crossovers with The Predator, beginning in late 2023 with Predator vs Wolverine by Benjamin Percy and a team of artists including Ken Lashley, Hayden Sherman, and Greg Land. This initiative spawned a slew of limited series, such as Predator vs Black Panther and the recently released Predator Kills the Marvel Universe. Looking at the response to Aliens vs Avengers though, while the series did have an inconsistent release, taking nearly a full year to be completed, overall readers seem pleasantly surprised by this comic's depth and nuance, and the lengths that Hickman and Ribic went to bring these two properties together. As an adaptation of both the Avengers and Alien, this series explores each universe in fascinating ways. On the Marvel side, Hickman uses this brand new continuity to revisit several concepts and characters that played significant roles in his runs on Avengers, Fantastic Four, and X-Men, such as Iron Man, Black Panther, Valeria Richards, and Mr. Sinister. Although it's great to just see Hickman writing these characters again and continuing to tell their stories, the decision to not set this tale on Earth 616 and instead create an entirely new alternate universe gives Hickman the freedom to play with whatever existing lore he wants, and create new incarnations of these heroes and villains that feel surprisingly lived in and realised. The setting of this dark future is brilliant too, and I honestly feel like this should be a project that gets multiple sequel books just to learn more about this distinct version of the Marvel Universe. In addition to this, Jonathan Hickman is clearly a big fan of the Alien series and uses this opportunity to both celebrate and deconstruct concepts from each era of the franchise. Much of the writer's take on Alien feels heavily inspired by Ridley Scott's prequel films, Prometheus and Alien Covenant. This can be seen through the story's framing device of David and the synthetics, as well as the looming presence of the engineers. There's even a moment in issue 2, lifted almost directly from Alien Covenant, where David takes the engineer's ship back to their homeworld and unleashes a large-scale attack utilizing the substance that created the Xenomorphs. However, much like how this version of the Avengers isn't a straight adaptation of their traditional counterparts, Hickman changes some of the events from the film, revealing that a small group of engineers survived David's attack and are following his conquest across the multiverse. Although this plot with the engineers is mainly told through flashbacks, depicting them destroying worlds infected by David's plague before encountering Black Panther and the Wakandan Empire, it does help to fuel the book's overarching theme of creation versus creator. Each central character in Aliens vs Avengers, be it Tony Stark, Mr. Sinister, T'Challa, or David, fits within this central theme. For example, the elderly Iron Man feels regret for allowing the Weyland Corporation to absorb his company, prompting him to build both the city and the rocket that kickstarts humanity's resistance to the Xenomorphs. Likewise, Mr. Sinister is a character obsessed with creating life, and here, his machinations with DNA create an even greater evil, the alien mutant hybrids. Sinister, much like David, is a man seeking to become a god and make new life in the universe in his image, with both of these characters' desires being at odds with the Avengers, the X-Men, and their allies in a battle to maintain a lost world. For what could have been a pretty simple and straightforward merging of IPs, Hickman and Ribic instead took this concept and told a grand cosmic tragedy with a surprisingly deep mythology, exploring what it means to be a god and how the battle for survival changes everyone involved. Fans would have likely still bought this series just to witness Iron Man and Captain America fight aliens, but Hickman's brilliance and dedication to telling ambitious, high-concept stories results in something far more unique and memorable than anyone expected. And even if I don't necessarily consider Aliens vs Avengers on the same level as comics like Secret Wars, House of X or Time Runs Out, I am a big fan of this series and think it fits in well with the writer's larger body of work, both in terms of quality and thematically. As I noted in the introduction, franchise crossovers are nothing new in superhero comics. We've seen Batman fight Dracula, Superman battle the Terminator, and Godzilla destroy the Marvel Universe. But while all of these stories are fun, I appreciate Hickman's more original approach, utilising the long-running mythology of both properties to tell a fitting and worthy story for two titans of modern pop culture, and something that, in my opinion, could be considered the ultimate sci-fi crossover. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a like on this video and leave a comment down below as well. Let me know your thoughts on everything we talked about in today's video. I can't wait to hear what you have to say as always. If you're new to Owen Likes Comics, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notify bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you enjoyed this and you want some more, there should be some other videos on screen right now that you might also enjoy. If you want to help support the channel and help me make more videos, you can do so by going over to patreon.com/OwenLikesComics, or if you just want some more of me, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Blue Sky, just at Owen Likes Comics. But that's all for this video. Again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you next time. But until then, take care and keep reading.